This is the DJI FPV in 2024. So the DJI FPV is a couple of years old at this point, but there really isn't too many different drones that you can get for FPV style of flying and having the benefits of the DJI system. Before we start this video, I just wanted to mention that I actually use an action camera on top of the drone for better video quality, so I don't use the video from the drone itself in my cinematic travel films. And also I use the DJI FPV controller with the DJI Goggles V2, which I just prefer over the Goggles 2 for my type of face, my head, and just these feel a little bit better for me, more comfortable. But I tried both of the goggles and it's just a personal preference. So first thing I have to say is this drone is pretty fast. It can fly very fast, quickly, and pretty agile for a pretty chunky drone because this is heavy. And the weight is a plus and a minus. Sometimes that can actually be good. For example, one of the things that I like about this drone is it can withstand high winds and just different conditions, not only in a perfect location and perfect conditions. This can fly in pretty much anything. I even flown it where the winds were very strong, and normally I would not put any drone to the test, but I did with this one, and it can actually fly it. One way it was just zooming by, but the other one it would go so much slower, but it did pull through and it just flown very nicely. And because of that, I feel like this drone is just stronger and faster, a little bit more aggressive, and you can really push it a lot farther and stronger in different conditions and places. But at the same time, this drone is a little bit fragile. You kind of become a little bit afraid to break it. You might not fly as low or close to things because you know that any contact with anything might result in a broken drone and a couple $100 down the drain. Well, some people said that it's not as capable as having a pre-built or self-built drone. I think this, for a pre-built drone by the DJI company, is very good still. And it's not going to be as good, but I think for general use for a lot of people, this is going to be more than enough. For those that just want to have the experience of flying with the DJI FPV, just the system of having like the goggles, or if you want to get into FPV, or in this case, if you want to put like an action camera, GoPro or DJI Action on top of the FPV and have that, best of both worlds, so you have a good quality camera and a stable flying, something that is much easier to start with. You can always use the normal mode for starting and ending. That's the way I fly. I start with the normal, go up, and then turn into manual, so that I can have the best of both worlds. And don't even get me started on how many times this drone saved me from crashing, because once the signal is lost, it just goes into return to home mode. So it flies up and gets back to you. And even though I thought maybe I crashed, maybe it's like it's over because I've flown behind like a volcano or behind like a ridge, suddenly the drone is back to me. And you will know because the goggles or the controller will make a sound notifying you that there's a connection and that it's returning to home, like the typical return to home, beeping. Once you have it, you can go into the goggles and start flying again. I know this drone has had a somewhat bad reputation for its camera. I feel like it all depends on your usage. It's not the widest, it's not the best, and you cannot use the gyro flow or any other stabilization for it. But if you're just an enthusiast or hobbyist, this is more than enough. You can record in 4K 60 frames per second with decent light, so it's a very nice footage from the get-go. But if you want to push this a little bit farther and you're gonna lose a little bit of battery, you can mount a camera, like an action camera on top like I do, and that is gonna make it a little bit heavier. The battery is not going to hold as long. You can kind of have the benefits of both the worlds and have, the DJI FPV with the system of flying with the action camera on top, which means that you have a better quality for your videos. So in my opinion, this drone is like the drone that I want to have with me when I want to be sure that the job is going to be done. So that I'm not afraid that if there's higher winds, I will not be able to use it. The one thing I found about this drone though is compared to the DJI Avata, I feel like the Avata has better connection within this. Sometimes this isn't as clear, but that could be the action camera on top. Because of its size and weight, it isn't the best for carrying around. Yes, I do travel with it, but it is a lot of different little sacrifices here and there. For example, I have to pack it in my luggage and, you know, have the batteries with me, but I have to sacrifice a little bit more space in the main luggage. Same thing happens when you're traveling somewhere and I have to have a bigger backpack or more backpacks to carry it with all the different things. And also the setup is a little bit longer because you have to have the propellers on, you have to put the battery in, then have the camera, action camera on top, and set it up so it's matching the thing that you see. And once you start flying, you cannot change the settings or the angle that you have, which is like the good and bad sides of the drone. So I feel like it has a lot of really good things about it, you know, like I can rely on it in terms of strength, but also there are a couple of things that are just inconvenient for me when flying with it. But coming back to the question, is it worth it in 2024? I feel like it's definitely more than worth it. It's a very, very good drone, and I feel like anyone that wants to start flying with FPV and you want to just learn FPV, this is an amazing drone to start with. And that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys learned something new today. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.